Donaldson released, Bader on waivers. It's wild what a difference a month can make.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias, and with me, as always, is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, kind of a busy day.
Super busy day on Tuesday. Hey, thanks so much for clicking on the show. We have a whole bunch of things to get through here today. Of course, we have a preview of Game 3 in Detroit as the Yankees look to take the series with Gerrit Cole on the mound. What's the Cy Young case? How does the season look for Cole moving forward? We're going to talk about that a little bit later. As we teased on yesterday's show, DJ LeMahieu has been talking about Sean Casey and what changes he's made to have a much better second half. We have the numbers to break down for you and everything else coming up later on. But first, Stacey, the big news of Tuesday, Josh Donaldson released. He was getting close to a rehab. He was taking batting practice, as we know. A couple weeks ago, started taking some swings, and the Yankees said goodbye. Are you surprised?
Yes, I actually am. I can't believe they did it. I had to look at those tweets like 4 times to make sure that they were real because I didn't quite believe it. And I think the news came when Boone was on with John Boy, which I thought was really funny.
Yes.
So they were like, hey, by the way. And he's like, yeah, and he gave the explanation as to why they did that for Donaldson, but smart move by the Yanks. It's going to be like spring training in September. It should be fun.
Yeah, I mean, that was the reasoning I was anticipating, was give him a chance. And Tuesday, weirdly enough, I don't know, Stacey, I feel like we got a second trade deadline on Tuesday. Everybody, especially the Angels, as we know, just dumped everybody.
Yeah.
Of course, Mike Clevenger got placed on waivers too. Like a couple of guys, there was a good chunk of them, and a lot of guys that some teams are definitely going to be picking up. Like there are some big names. But I mean, Donaldson being released, obviously not waivers. There's the 60-day thing and all that kind of stuff. So technically, if you're watching this right as it releases, there's still a few hours left of Donaldson being on what's called release waivers. That ends on Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern. He's obviously not going to get picked up there. No one's going to take on that contract. So he will be able to sign with any club. He's essentially just a free agent straight up. There are some weird other quirks salary-wise. It doesn't matter, and who cares? But yeah, essentially he's just a straight-up free agent at this point. And the Yankees now at 39 of 40 on the 40-man roster because of this move. The Donaldson era of the Yankees Donaldson era is clearly a disappointment. This is not the way either parties wanted this to go.
Yeah, but are we surprised, Yankee fans? Leave that below. Let me know if you're surprised by this, because I'm not surprised by this in the least. When I was hosting the show by myself, I did a full half hour blasting Cashman and Hal for the move that they made to get Donaldson. I was not happy about it. I thought it was ridiculous. And look at how it worked out. And I mean, none of the moves that they made in 2022 worked out because Bader placed on waivers.
Bader placed on waivers. So the way this works, Stacey, so Bader gets placed on waivers. If he goes claimed, which I think he probably will at this point, that team will end up paying the salary of that, what's remaining, which I believe is under $1 million still left. I think it's like $900K or something like that. Yeah. If in the event that he doesn't get claimed, he can become a free agent while retaining the rest of that salary. But he could also decide to say, whatever, I'll just keep playing there. Might as well still play here and keep playing baseball for the next month if he wants to stick around. No one would shame him for wanting to leave after being treated that way. But, of course, that is the case. But, yeah, I mean, Bader being placed on waivers, I mean, I guess we'll figure out later. We still have never really heard if they ever truly shopped him at the deadline.
Right.
But like you said, I mean, what a difference in 1 month what this makes. And again, this feels like a second trade deadline almost because, they restructured the trade deadline, the waiver trade deadline and all that kind of stuff a couple of years ago. So we're starting to see the effects of that now. And again, with all these waiver placements, so guys can get there by September 1st potentially.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling we're weirdly going to see some second bolstering of teams that are still in the hunt.
Yeah, and there are a bunch of teams in the hunt. Like there are a bunch of teams in that wild card race that are, within a few games of it. And this last month is going to be really interesting. And the Yankees have a chance to screw with some of those teams, like the Blue Jays, twice in September because they play them at home and in Toronto. So I'm kind of hoping, I didn't expect the 2023 Yankees to be spoiler at this point, but I'm kind of liking this and hoping that it works out that way because that could be fun. We don't get to do that as Yankee fans where, we're the ones spoiling teams' chances at the playoffs. So this could be an interesting last month.
Yeah, for sure. Bader, just quickly, I mean, that didn't work out the way everybody wanted either. Obviously, the power regress here in the second half of the season has been shocking. The lack of walks has been shocking, as well as plate discipline. Not that he's been bad, just clearly not as good. And, the defense has always been there. Yeah, the injuries too, that obviously just did not help anything out. So we'll see what happens in the Bader saga. We'll see if Donaldson ends up getting picked up. We'll see if Donaldson ends up retiring. There's a whole bunch of questions on these players still moving forward, and just kind of the landscape of teams moving forward here. Again, we're going to find answers pretty quick because if they want these guys on that postseason roster, they got to be there by September 1st. So lots to unpack still here in the coming days. Stacey, meanwhile, baseball was played on Tuesday in the middle of all of this. Don't forget the baseball was played. Yankees won their second game in Detroit, 4-2 final. Michael King getting the start again, 4 innings of work. He struck out 5, shutout baseball, 61 pitches. Like that they let him work through to get that final out in the 4th. Your overall thoughts on Michael King's second start?
Very nice. I said I wanted 4. I got my 4. We said he was probably going to be up between 60 and 65 pitches, right at 61. Some of his stuff looked nasty, and he was able to get out of some sticky-ish situations. And I think he looked really good.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a legitimate prospect moving forward. It looks like at this point he's lined up every 5 days to just keep going, with Brito being the piggyback. And I think that's a good idea. I think they should keep doing this. I don't care results-wise how it goes. I care about getting him through and getting him into that routine again and, building himself up like that so he goes into the offseason kind of anticipating that kind of workload. So I think this is a great move. Brito looked good behind him, too. 3 1/3, shutout baseball, 2 walks, 3 Ks. The Jhony Brito line lives and lives strong. He looked pretty good. His changeup was looking really nice last night.
His changeup was awesome. Awesome for strike 3. Just amazing. I was like, wow. I mean, some of the guys on Detroit were swinging away there, but that changeup looked fantastic. I was so impressed.
Yeah, and we know that's his bread and butter secondary. So when it pairs with that 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and when both pitches are working and he can tunnel both of them, he is pretty lethal. He doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, as we know, but he's pretty lethal with weak contact as well because of that changeup. Offensively, home run parade continues in Detroit, Stace. Gleyber goes deep in the 1st. Higgy goes deep in the 5th. Judge scores on a pass ball in the 6th. And then Volpe, a solo shot in the top of the 9th.
19 home runs for the kid. 54 runs batted in. I mean, that's a good rookie season, and it's only August 30th. So he still has a whole month and a couple of days to add to those totals. So good job by him. I joked on Twitter that, he didn't do anything with the bases loaded, and joked that, couldn't this have happened with the bases loaded? But good for him showing the power. And Gleyber, 454, his longest home run of his career.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't even want to gloss over that. Yeah, I mean, Glaber's been great. We've been singing his praises for the majority of the season. Volpe power-wise is still super interesting to me because he's a very unassuming guy, right? He's not this massive monster, and for him to be pushing at the door of 20 homers this season is pretty shocking to me. I earmarked him more as like a 20 to 25 guy in a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
But this is super encouraging to see the power the way it has been, and we'll see if that continues to grow. He could pull a Jason Dominguez this offseason. Remember, Dominguez heading in to spring training this year gained like a whole bunch of weight and good weight and like gained all this muscle. So we'll see if Volpe does the same thing. I'd be curious to see how he looks when it comes to spring next year. Back-to-back wins, Stace. Back-to-back wins, and a chance to win this series, which is a welcome sight.
First time they've won 2 in a row since August 2nd and 3rd. And I believe I saw a stat where it's the first time they've won the first 2 games of a road series since Seattle in the end of May.
Yikes. it's been that kind of season. It's wow.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one, so thank you for that. That's insanity.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a chance to win it tonight. And of course, with Gerrit Cole on the mound, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, is always going to give you a really, really good chance. And for everydayers who stick around throughout the whole show, my Kerry Carpenter prediction is flatlining hard. I did it again.
You have 2 more games.
I know.
2 more games.
But with Cole, we'll see.
Watch it be Cole. Watch him hit a home run off Cole.
Yeah, it's going to be that, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know how you're feeling about the Donaldson stuff. Let us know how you're feeling about Bader going on waivers, all that kind of stuff. And let us know how you're feeling about everything. Just a lot of news on Tuesday, a lot of waiver stuff. Let us know in the comment section here on YouTube. You can also leave your questions for Fan Mail Friday. Reply to that pinned comment down below. You can also, of course, join our subtext to skip that line. Episode description has all the information. One-on-one text conversations with Stacey and myself. You get those roster moves as soon as it happens. All of it, again, in the episode description. All right, we're going to step aside. We talked about it a little bit yesterday in Giancarlo Stanton. We need to talk about Sean Casey and what DJ LeMahieu had to say about him and how he has turned around his season.
This episode is sponsored by LinkedIn Sales. Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. They call it deep sales. They've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/lockedon. That's linkedin.com/lockedon for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/lockedon and get started.
Back now on Locked On Yankees. Hey, don't forget Game 3 tonight in the Motor City, 6:40 first pitch. You can listen to it on SiriusXM with John and Susan. Download the SiriusXM app today in whatever app store is of your choosing. And to the everydayers out there, coming up on tomorrow's show, we have to talk about Austin Wells, top catching prospect in the Yankees system, is supposed to be playing first base a little bit more moving forward. Wells DH'd, as a matter of fact, on Tuesday's opener in Rochester. Keeping my eye on that. I was like, are you playing first yet? He's not playing first yet, but we need to talk about that and some September call-up stuff. Of course, when that episode comes out, it'll be the 31st, which means rosters expand on the 1st. So make sure to subscribe for that. Stace, we talked about Stanton yesterday and his praise of Sean Casey, new hitting coach. Other guys who have been singing the praises of Sean Casey, for good reason, DJ LeMahieu. DJ's second half has been drastically different than his first half. Here's some quotes. I'll leave the article linked in the episode description, as I always do. Quote, "I think Sean Casey has been a huge help for me. I relate to him really well. He has great positive energy." We kind of talked about that quote a little bit yesterday as well, Stacey, on how that that energy thing was kind of the main, well, not the main, I want to say the main thing, but one of the big things, the big side effects that Sean Casey has brought, and multiple guys have been singing that praise.
Right. Yeah. And he's been that guy, like when he was a player, when he was on TV, he's just that happy-go-lucky, positive. He was so thrilled when he got the job and so ready to do it. And it's nice to see that the guys feel that way about him.
Yeah. He also went on in that article. Again, it's linked down below. In that article, they said this. I found this very interesting and kind of has been tying into what we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks here on the show. This is what the article said. LeMahieu and Aaron Boone said the key difference has been a subtle change to LeMahieu's lower half, which has allowed LeMahieu to get more speed to his swing, enabling him to keep his bat in the zone longer and hit for more power. Of course, had a 2-home-run game over the weekend, hit 3 bombs over the weekend. We've talked about this on a few occasions, Stacey, and I want to point to the Luis Severino stuff we've talked about a lot of these subtle changes, the head movement, the arm angle, these tiny things that you have to really be looking for are making a big change. And I believe it was on yesterday's show you said, like, it's weird how this happens. And
Yeah.
I was thinking about this morning when you said that, and I was still thinking about it. Like, your words were still ringing in my ears.
Sorry.
It often does. I talk to you every single day.
I know.
So, but what I was thinking about, I was like, wait, that it seems weird, but maybe it isn't, because of course they got to this level being good at baseball. Maybe that sounds dumb to point out. It's obvious and blatantly in your face. But of course, it's only going to be small changes. I mean, sure, there are guys that you have to completely restructure sometimes. They'll completely change mechanics, hand over fist. And that is a case-by-case basis, obviously. But, you saying, like, it's weird. I'm thinking about it. Maybe it's not so weird after all, Stace.
Maybe weird wasn't the right word, but it's just really interesting how the smallest tweak can go, like a guy can go from batting like 215, not batting for power and not doing anything, to completely turning his season around. It's just that kind of thing. Maybe not weird. Weird's not the right word. Again, my ADHD brain's not working well, but yeah.
Here are the numbers to back it up, Stace. Pre-All-Star numbers for DJ LeMahieu. Slash line 220, 284, 387. Slash line post All-Star break. Batting 84 points higher. 304. He's like 1.5 times on the on base. 412, and he's added almost 100 points in slugging, 478. In the first half of the season, Stacey, he hit 7 home runs in 76 games. In the 33 games since, he's hit 5. So he's almost hit that total in half the amount of games. It's truly magnificent. And when you're looking at this, you have to be encouraged, because you got to remember, DJ signed through 2026. Like, this is not... this isn't just something that's going to go away by the end of the season like Donaldson or IKF or whatever, if you think those are issues. This is something that the Yankees, I'm not going to say are stuck with, but that the Yankees have to figure out.
Right. I wonder if his toe injury was still affecting him in the first half, and maybe that's why his bottom half wasn't working the way it was supposed to, because I feel like a toe can obviously we saw it with Judge. It can really affect you in many ways. And I feel like he wasn't healed yet. And I feel like he wasn't himself. And I think getting healthier and then figuring out, oh, all right, wait, I have to change this in order to do this, helped him a lot. Because when the Yankees signed him, or when they got him in 2019, he was supposed to be the utility guy. He didn't start opening day. They didn't expect him to be DJ LeMahieu MVP guy who's hitting like 30 home runs when he never even hit that. Like, he didn't hit that many combined the previous 2 seasons in Colorado. He came over here, became a hitting machine, and everyone was like, oh my God, DJ LeMahieu. And, the last couple of seasons have been a disappointment, but I feel like, especially this past series with the home runs and the different hits he got, he felt like 2019, 2020 DJ LeMahieu, and it was a very welcome sight in the midst of the darkness of the 2023 Yankees. So I'm glad he's getting things together. And as you said, there's a few more seasons of this that they have to work with. And, he's aging too. He's not that young. And so by the time his contract ends, he's going to be up there. And this is just really good. I'm glad he turned things around, because they need him in the lineup to turn things around.
Yeah, for sure. And it gives you that option, especially if, someone's slumping or somebody gets hurt. It's good depth. Like, he's playing first base, like, as Rizzo's not there. So that,
and doing
that's
a pretty
massive.
good job too at first,
Yeah, he is. And one guy I wanted to kind of compare him to here just for a split second, as you were talking about the trajectory of his career. You could have changed the name to Christian Yelich, and it almost is the exact same thing. Right, it's pretty wild, the similar paths and all guys go through ups and downs, the superstars included. That's baseball. So, but yeah, to see him come around and see him potentially here, still got a couple of weeks left, but you can finish the season on a higher note. That's massive for anybody. That's massive for anybody to head into the offseason feeling better about yourself. You talk about Luis Severino, how different it is for him, Yankees aside, career-wise, personally, how much different you feel about your season when it ends on a higher note. It changes everything. Absolutely changes everything. Let us know how you're feeling about DJ LeMahieu's turnaround. We still don't know what that subtle change is. They didn't go into detail on that. Maybe that's a video breakdown for
I was going to say
stuff. You just love putting me to work, Stacey. That's what you love to do.
I do.
Steve, go look through all the footage and take a look at it and see what's different. Maybe we'll talk about that. Let us know if you want us to do that, like we've done with Oswaldo and Luis Severino and all that kind of stuff. That could be off-season stuff, which is rapidly approaching. All right, we're going to step aside. We still got plenty of baseball here, a little over a month. So we're going to talk about Game 3 and Gerrit Cole's Cy Young chances when we come back. Back here on Locked On Yankees, Game 3, Yankees-Tigers. Gerrit Cole on the mound. Sirius XM's the place to listen to. You guys already know that. No announced starter as of this recording for the Detroit Tigers, but I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about Gerrit Cole's future for the remaining season. Stace, I said, was it on Monday's show? Gerrit Cole is the Cy Young winner, right? Like I'm there. I'm over it. It's there. Gerrit Cole's my son. If I'm voting today, if I'm voting in a month, it's Gerrit Cole. And I did the math of it. Obviously, this could shake out differently. But every 5 days, remainder of the season, Gerrit Cole will make 6 more starts, including tonight's. Here's who he would face if he goes every 5 days. Detroit twice, the next 2 starts. Then Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, and then he'll finish up against the Blue Jays back-to-back. I think that bodes pretty darn well for Gerrit Cole's Cy Young chances.
It could. Yes, let's hope so. Like I said, I am hoping the Yankees kind of play spoiler there, and it would be so great if Cole could do that, because I believe the second series against the Blue Jays, the last full week of the season, is in Toronto, and if they're close to a wild card spot and he kind of ends that, stops that from happening, I would definitely give him the Cy Young just for that, because I'm petty and not happy that my team isn't doing that well. No, I'm kidding. I really would love for him to do that. I just really wish the rest of the team was doing well and that it wasn't in a wasted season. It's not a waste for him, but it's a waste for the team. And it's just like, oh, this could have been so much better if the team were doing better. And if the team were doing better, he'd have more wins. He'd probably have better, not that people take wins and losses as seriously as they look at the other numbers more, but it would just look a little better, in some cases, because there were a few starts where they screwed up for him and the bullpen blew things for him. And yeah, it's just, I feel like I wish it were a better all around season for the entire team, but I'm loving how he's looking. And I know we both got worried in May after the strong April when he had that really bad May that, what's happening here? And he's really rebounded.
Yeah, if you look past that May, which everyone has at this point, you look back at the pitcher of the month in April. Don't forget he won pitcher of the month in April. He could have a case here in August too, especially if he spins a gem here. Yeah. He had one bad start, but everything else has been incredible. It's crazy to think. Maybe it's not crazy to think. Maybe I'm dialing back weird and crazy here today. When we were all the way back in spring training, Stacey, rewind time, put it in your brain. When we were talking about Gerrit Cole, we started looking at his career numbers, season by season by season by season, trying to project what he would accomplish this year. And lo and behold, as you would have it, Gerrit Cole is advertised. I think it's incredible because longevity, consistency, that's the antithesis of baseball. It's impossible to be consistent, good, and always there, right? And Gerrit Cole's done all those things, and he's, for the most part, done that for his entire career. And I guess I shouldn't be shocked that when we're here in late August with just a couple of starts left, going, damn it, he did it again.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
And it's just so fun to watch him pitch, man. I think that's just what it boils down to, the hearts of it for you, for me. We're just baseball fans and we just love it. And seeing Gerrit Cole go out there and throw the way he does, like and with the fire he does and with the fastball it's great to watch.
Yeah. He really is a lot of fun. And I feel like, and it's really silly to say this, but it feels this way. It feels like Yankee fans are finally appreciating him after all this time, because I guess they were disappointed in certain things. And, last season with all the home runs and all that other stuff. And I feel like this season is the one that's waking some people up. Like, oh, yeah, this is why they signed him for this much money. And this is why he's the ace of the staff.
Yeah. Yeah. And he has performed like an ace of aces.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he is the best pitcher in the American League. I don't think I don't think it's a contest.
No, I think anyone that could have competed with him is now injured. So I feel like McClanahan, Eovaldi, if he had stayed healthy, because he was doing really, really well too, stepping up in the place of Jacob deGrom, who went down with an injury pretty early. So yeah, I feel like it's his to lose, but I don't think he will.
No, he'd have to have a massive failure, which Gerrit Cole doesn't do. He just
Right.
doesn't. He's a gamer, man. He goes out there and competes. He is a competitor, and he's an all-timer, dude. Like, he is the best pitcher in the American League, man. I'm just saying it. I don't care what anybody else has to say. Gerrit Cole's the best pitcher in the American League. Let us know. Do you think Gerrit Cole's going to win the Cy Young? Am I singing his praises way too much, or am I not doing it enough? Let us know in the comment section here on YouTube. Again, don't forget, coming up on Thursday's show, Austin Wells is supposed to be starting to play some first base down in Scranton-Wilkes-Barre. We did not see that on Tuesday night. Again, he DH'd. But is that the case moving forward? Is he going to be the September call-up? What are the Yankees going to do? We're going to try and look into our crystal ball on tomorrow's show. So hit subscribe so you don't miss that. That's going to do it for today's Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granado.
And I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. We'll see you tomorrow.